Bob?
Andrew, I was hoping you could give the board an update on the Dascomb Road project and the task force and where everything stands right now.
Sure. So we made our initial appointments and sent out letters. Two members who I recommended for appointment did not accept their appointment. So we're working to finalize the group and replace those two vacancies
And how long is that supposed to take, would you think?
within a day.
Okay, so when will that task force meet for the first time?
Either later this week or early next week,
Okay.
depending on availability. And one thing we're doing as we reach out to them is check availability. So it's a large group, so we're trying to work around schedules.
Right, okay. Well, I just want to point out again, as I did last meeting, that this timeline is getting awfully tight. The warrant is going to close December 15th. Ms. Lapoli has every right as a private a person to ask for a private warrant article, but I just think we ought to think about, to the extent that this is a task force that was set up at your request, as to whether we ought to be guiding the private developer on whether January is too soon to be seeking a zoning change in light of the fact that none of this has been before the planning board yet. There will be very little time for peer reviews and all the things that go with that. Mr. Lapoli had committed to a dual track, one track without residential and the other with. And as far as the first track without residential, we haven't seen any progress on that, at least doesn't appear to be. Hasn't been before the planning board yet. There's been no submission for an application. So I just want to make the point that Mr. Lapoli, as a private developer, has the right, certainly, to seek a private warrant article, but that doesn't mean that a task force set up by this board and this community, against my wishes, I might add, should facilitate that. In fact, I would argue that that advisory board, that task force, ought to be encouraging Mr. Lapoli to target a May town meeting so that there is time for all of this to unfold.